Right now you're looking at live pictures of what was the Station Nightclub in Warwick, Rhode Island, 15 miles southwest of Providence, where we understand at least 86 people were killed.
The 80s band Great White took the stage to bursts of pyrotechnics. It was a theatrical entrance that would have devastating consequences. A Providence news photographer shot this video as the walls behind the stage caught fire.
I noticed when the pyro stopped, the flame kept going on both sides. And then on one side, I noticed it come over the top, and that's when I said, I have to leave. And I turned around and I said, get out, get to the door, get to the door. And people just stood there.
First got into music, I would say probably like, you know, I hate to admit it, but you know what, I was into the king of pop.
While Scott was growing up, he was always involved in different activities. He played hockey, soccer, and always was involved in music since as long as I can remember.
Scott growing up, showman, knew he was going to try to get into entertainment someday. Used to put on the shows for the family in the cellar where we used to live. One of his favorites was Michael Jackson, but he might not tell you that.
But you know, Michael was the man. That was the first person I got into as far as music. Secondly, like my grandmother, you know, she passed away, but I used to spend a lot of time at her house. Actually, when we lived at our old house, she lived next door. Before I knew it, like, you know, I was at my grandmother's house and watching MTV, and like this video came on, and like these dudes were like flying like in a helicopter, and like they landed and like they got out, went on the stage. It was this band called Striper, and that's when my life changed.
He got me more involved with music than I ever had been. He used to be in the band, so we supported the band for a while, and then he got out of that and just got involved in more of the collecting, like I said, in the production part of it. He took us to many shows. We went to many rock shows and a lot of concerts that I never thought I would go to in a million years.
I used to take him to a rock club down in Brockton, Mass. It's no longer there, called Derringer's. I used to bring him there, and people say, geez, how can you bring a kid to a place like that?
I'm lucky to have like really cool parents. You know, still to this day, I mean, they'll come to shows.
Just a few years ago, we went to Kiss and Aerosmith, and I probably was the oldest person there, but we had fun.
There was a band that I was really into. When I was a kid, they were signed to like MCA Records, and they were kind of like the up and coming thing, but they never really quite like got that big. But they were called Spread Eagle, and my dad used to bring me into a club to like go see them all the time.
Became friendly with a band called Spread Eagle. The lead singer, Ray West. I brought him back. He got backstage. I didn't get him backstage. He got himself backstage, and it started from there.
Well, it started off as just a small little corner, and it has grown and grown and grown, and it still's growing, and he keeps saying to me, no, I haven't bought anything else down there. But it is an amazing, amazing piece of work down there.
My favorite stuff, it would be like, you know, my Striper collection, you know, like different things. Like I've got, like a lot of my Japanese stuff, like imports and stuff, are definitely like, you know, my favorite pieces as far as like my collection goes. But to pick one certain thing is like, you know, would be like having a parent like pick a kid. Like, you know, I can't pick like one or the other. Like I love everything, you know. All right, well, you're about to enter, you know, a pretty psychotic place, but hey, it's my life. This is, you know, what I spend my time doing. When you see this stuff, you might think like I sit at home all day, but you know, I do work many hours a week, but I do this too. Anyways, over here, I have a Kiss collection. Like, got a lot of Kiss stuff. I love collecting, you know, everything I can on Kiss. But, you know, you got lunch boxes, dolls, condoms, pins, toys, you name it, they got it. So, then you have my #1 favorite band, Striper. Believe it or not, Kiss is not my #1 favorite band. They're like #5. Sorry, guys. Because the way it goes for me, it's Striper, Poison, Warrant, Motley Crue, and then Kiss. So, yeah, you can't forget the rest. Def Leppard, Cinderella, Skid Row. There's about like 1,000 others. Rat. Ooh, can't forget them. Yeah, there's this is like a pinball machine. Like you can't see it, but because it's got all poison stuff on it. But like this is like my most prized possession in this entire room. Don't ask me. Like it means a lot. Like I got it from Bret Michaels, and it just says Scott, much respect. Cheers, Bret Michaels. In back of me, actually is a drum kit that I won through WFNX for a contest to play drums with Tommy Lee, and that was definitely cool because Tommy Lee is like one of the best rock drummers like in hard rock history, and my first drum lesson was with Tommy Lee, and I had never touched the drums before in my life. This whole wall, Great White, all different autographs, all their CDs. This one of my favorite posters actually in my room. Just says, "To Scott, my best bro in the East. Love, Jack Russell. To Scott, you simply rock, Mark Kendall." They're the founders of GW. Jack is also, one of my favorite vocalists of all time. Over here actually is a tribute to Ty, a very cool dude. He was a guitarist from Great White that passed away in the fire. Actually, this is one of my favorite things too. Now I look around, like there's a lot of cool things. No, this ain't no Michael Jackson glove. This is actually, isn't that metal? Well, this is Jack Russell, a Great White's glove. Like he was on stage, and I was in the front row. And he tore it off and threw it to me. So that was cool. His autograph right there. Sweet. So. But the day of the fire was just like any normal day. Like I, went to work, and I don't know, we, like that day, like, I don't know, like things leading up to it, everything seemed cool, like, talked to Derek a few times. Well, actually, Derek had come over here because I had just gotten some new stuff on eBay. So he wanted to look at it, and he liked to like poke around in my room and stuff. We were waiting for Gino to get out of school, and then we went over to his house and picked him up. But we had taken Derek's truck and then switched over to like Gino's like car, and like Gino's car was like a busted piece of shit, and like he would agree with me on that. So with his car being like that, like his stereo, like wasn't that great, and like he had one of those like tape player CD things that you could like throw the tape in. So the best thing about that is like the tape had stopped working like when we were down there, and like when you don't have music, what do? You talk. So we got to talk about a lot of things, and if we were in my car or if we were in Derek's truck, we would just been blasting tunes the whole time, which that's cool, but in all reality, we didn't know that was going to be like our last like heart-to-heart conversation, We had no idea. We got to the station probably around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. There wasn't that many people in there. It was probably like fucking 5 people in there. But like being early just like made all the difference. Because when, we got to hang out and talk, I mean, you don't put all that stuff together when you don't know it's like, like the last like couple hours of like, being with somebody or like hanging out with people you enjoy. Like when you look back on it, you're thankful for like every second that you were early. Derek didn't drink. So, I mean, he like never drank alcohol, which is cool. So me and Gino, like, we like had a few beers, whatever, and like just hung out and talked. And for the band that was touring with Great White, this band called Trip, we were actually in the front row. We were in the places we were for, when Great White like took the stage. As far as like pyro goes with like Great White, no. Like, I mean, just because I had seen them in the past and, even seeing them in like a big arena setting, I mean, it was not something that was normal. My first reaction, and actually it was like the last time I like talked to my friend Derek, but the exact thing we said was, "Oh fuck," and like we both looked at each other, said the same thing, and that was it. you know, I don't remember seeing him after that. So that was it. And the last, like, 2 words. He went this way, and I went that way. Like, why I went straight, I don't know. Like, why, you know, I didn't grab his hand, I don't know. I mean, that's questions I ask myself every day. But, you know, it was chaos, man. Like, and some of the stuff I heard, like, in there, like, I would never repeat to anybody. Like, I would never, ever let somebody in on that. You know, I heard some terrible things, saw some really, really scary shit. And, I mean, it would be, like, your worst horror movie, like, ever. Like, the stuff I, like, saw, like I, you know, I mean, never. Like, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But, you know, like, I turned around, and, I don't know, it was, you could see, like, the emergency lights went off, and it was complete black, and it was all smoke. Like, I have fallen down due to, like, all the people, like, you know, trying to get out. And I had, like, shoes on, like, rocker shoes, so I had a couple of people had fallen on top of me, but I had slipped one of my shoes off that were, you know, some bodies were on top of me, and that's how I was able to get my leg out and, like, able to get back up. Honestly, the only thing that was going through my head was my mother. Like, I didn't think about anything else, but I was like, how am I gonna explain this? You know, like, how is this gonna be explained?
It's tough. The whole situation's been tough. I can't imagine what it would be like without him. But it's hard knowing what he's going through, and like I said, he's always thinking about other people. So instead of thinking about himself coming out of the fire, here he is thinking about me.
I didn't know anything about it until I was driving home from work. And I got in my car, I was heading out of the parking lot, and I always have the news on, WBZ, you know, and the news came on. They said, oh, there was a nightclub fire in Rhode Island. As I was coming down into Woburn, where we live, the news came back on, and the news was more in depth, and it said how the band Great White. And I said, geez, I thought they were in Connecticut. I thought the kids went to Connecticut. It was going to be Sunday, but I had everything mixed up. Anyways, I come down the street. I look and I see Scott's car, and I saw he's home. Well, I pull in. It's probably 3:45 in the morning, somewhere around there. And my daughter's sitting in the chair holding the dog. That's not right. My daughter's never up at that hour. And when I came in, I could see the flames. I could see footage. I was like, wow, what's going on?
Like, up above me, like, towards, like, the left, like, way straight ahead, like, you could see, like, I think it was, like, a street light or something like that. It had to be, like, the street light from, where, like, there was, like, a car dealership across, like, the way. I made my way to the light, and, I don't know, like, I, like, dove out the window that somebody had broken, and somebody had bashed it from the outside, because that's, like, how I heard it, because I heard, like, the glass, like, smashed, and, like, it was basically like being in a swimming pool, and, like, you know, like, just, like, fucking diving, like, I'm like, that's, you know, that's what happened. And dude, when I got out, like, it's, you know, it's horrible. Like, and I asked myself every day, I was like, why the fuck wasn't I, like, you know, standing by, like, the door, like, you know, I mean, like, there, like, how it pisses me off, like, because, like, the stuff, you know, seeing like, you know, people like, you know, that were just out to have like a good time, like diving into like banks of snow to like put out the fire on their arm head like for the rest of your life. When I first got out, like, I mean, like, it took like, you know, it took a while to like, you know, catch your breath and like, what the hell just happened? But the only thing I did see, like, I saw two blonde heads like across the street, and those were my like friends. Like, this is, yeah, I don't know, this is like tough to like see, but like, I don't know, I had like, I knew that, you know, like I knew my friends didn't make it, you know. I know it sounds weird to say, but dude, when you're like looking around, you're like freaking like a half an hour seems like, you know, it was like a day. And like, you know, I knew like after being like there for like 20 minutes or so, that was it, the end. And, you know, like, I don't know, looking at people that were like coming by in stretchers and like trying to like identify them, like, it just, you know, I knew, you know, there was no, I just knew, end of story.
And he called me, I think it was about 3 minutes after the fire started. And it's a phone call I'll never forget, and I hear it every day. I relive it in my mind. And I was out of this house within 2 minutes.
My brother-in-law drove my wife down to Rhode Island, and they waited till he got discharged from the hospital. They were there when he arrived at the hospital, and when he was discharged, and he came in, and boy, I'll tell you, I just, you know, I was relieved.
As soon as I saw him and he saw me, we both started to cry, and he was covered in black. He was black.
Gave him a hug. Something I don't normally do. You know, being a tough guy. Yeah. You know, father-son thing. You know, it's kind of, I don't mean to be emotional. No. Brings back a lot.
Haunts me like when I wake up and when I go to bed. Like, I mean, it's different like day to day. I mean, like, you can't put it behind you. I mean, you can put it in the back of your mind, but like, unfortunately, like, they don't make vacuum cleaners for your brain, because like I would really like, you know, like a Hoover vacuum to suck the shit right out of my, you know, so I wouldn't have to think about it. But you know, it's something that you're gonna think about every day.
Oh, it was just changed everybody's lives forever. You know, it's to this day, it's just tough to think about it, talk about it. You know, like right now, it's just stirs up all those emotions of that day.
I know physically he wasn't injured too badly, and he came through that very well, but emotionally, definitely, a large part of him has changed a lot, and we lost a lot of Scott. But he's probably matured in a lot of ways, and he's always there to try to help other people and doesn't think about his own injuries.
More quiet, more into himself. I can't say he's drinking more. He's getting older. You know, but smokes cigarettes. The nervousness, you can tell when something's really there. It's just, I don't know. Just, they say time heals. This isn't going to heal. Just going to have to live with it and cope with it.
The fire has definitely changed Scott, but I just leave it open to him if he wants to talk to me.
I think maybe he has changed a little, just because now, like, he seems to want, he really wants to just live life and, do everything that he wants to do in his life,
I think what he went through is what a veteran would go through. He basically went through like a combat experience as a civilian, fight for his life to get out of a burning building. Human nature takes over, and it's the fight for survival.
It happened so quickly, it was a matter of instinct to help yourself. And I think that's part of what he's going through right now, is the guilt feeling, like, why did I get out and no one else? And if I had more time, could I have helped somebody else?
If I had the chance to go back, I would go back and, like, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd give my left arm to go back. Because if it meant, like, Derek surviving, like, then I'd go back. If it was my own life or his life, it would be his.
These people don't have their sons and daughters, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. But I still have my son. For that, I thank every day.
He made it out for a reason, whatever that is, he's gonna have to figure it out. I can't tell him, oh, you made it out because of, this or that.
Spear thing, dude, is the biggest fucking piece of bullshit ever.
Yeah, I knew, I had a feeling you felt like that.
It is, it's bullshit. But that's just like the normal thing. It's like, oh, God spared you for a reason. Yeah, my ass.
To this day, I'm just amazed he made it out of that building watching the video and being down at that site and seeing what a small area was. Just knowing big strapping guys didn't make it out of there. Right. Scott did. That amazes me that he got out of there.
I completely lost, like, all the faith I ever had, and, like, I grew up, like, my mother's, like, still, like, a strong Christian person that, like, goes to church and, like, does all this stuff. And, my favorite band, Stryper, like, even though they were, like, a huge band in the 80s, like, being on MTV and stuff, they were a Christian rock band. They were a big part of, like, my healing, like, my my whole healing process, because here's my favorite band. They broke up for, 10 years, and they got back together the year of the fire and, like, put out, a new CD. And one of the songs, like, the first lyric of the song is, I would walk through the fire for you. That's some strong stuff. My friend and Yaz were, we followed a bunch of shows. We were in Philadelphia, but something really special happened that night. And we were actually, brought backstage, and as Stryper being a Christian rock band, like, they wanted to pray with us, which at first, like, I thought was kind of strange. And, like, they, formed, like, a circle, and, like, they put me in the middle of it. And, like, but the thing is, dude, like, like, to a normal person it would sound kind of strange, but, like, the things they said and the stuff they said, about my friends and stuff like that, like, I mean, like, it changed, like, it definitely changed me and restored my faith. Am I a born-again Christian? No way. But, like, is my faith restored? Yes. And why is it restored? Because of that night. I mean, that was extremely strong, and that was probably, like, that was definitely one of the best nights of my life.
I don't think one thing helped him cope. Obviously, music helps him.
I think definitely, music has helped him a lot.
I feel that music has helped Scott through this whole process. At first he said he wasn't going to go to any more shows, and he wasn't going to listen to any more music, and then he started putting the headphones on and just maybe hiding his life a little bit inside the music, and it really helped draw him out of his little hole that he was hiding.
I'd say music. His love of music. Music, like I say, it's good for the soul, I guess. It's the cure-all. Keeps him going. It's passion. It's passion. Hopefully music will keep him going.
Music. Music his release. It's a way of life for him. I've never met a person that's been so into music. I mean, his surroundings, I mean, he's pretty much gave his life to rock and roll.
Music helped me 100%, 110%. That was it. That was it. That's why music's my best friend. Like, end of story. But the only thing that sucks is that, music's always been like your escape and stuff, but you don't think it's gonna be, cause if you're having a real bad day or whatever, but you never think that music's your escape is what's gonna threaten your life or take your friends' lives away. And unfortunately, that's what happened. But you know what? I could never get up on that. If I gave up on rock and roll, what am I gonna do? Sit at home and knit a blanket? I mean, give me a break.